What if one of the most dangerous habits for your kidneys is something you've trusted for decades? Not a prescription drug, not a serious illness, not even something that feels harmful. Just a simple glass of milk sitting on your breakfast table every morning. If you're over 60 and you've recently noticed swollen ankles, frequent trips to the bathroom at night, rising blood pressure, unusual fatigue, or a creatinine level that seems to creep higher every year, what I'm about to share could change the way you look at that morning routine forever. The truth is, many older adults assume that if something has always been considered healthy, it must still be healthy for them today. But your kidneys at 65 are not the same kidneys you had at 35. Every day, millions of tiny filters inside these organs work around the clock to remove waste, balance minerals, and keep your body alive. As those filters age, even small daily choices can begin to matter far more than most people realize. And the frightening part is that kidney damage rarely announces itself. It doesn't usually begin with severe pain or an obvious warning sign. Instead, it often develops quietly, one day at a time. While life continues as normal, that's why the real question isn't whether you're drinking milk. The real question is whether the type of milk you're choosing is helping your kidneys or slowly asking them to work harder than they can afford to. One of the most dangerous things about declining kidney function is that it often happens without creating the kind of alarm most people expect. When people think about serious health problems, they imagine sharp pain, dramatic symptoms, or a medical emergency that forces immediate attention. Kidney damage rarely works that way. In many cases, it develops quietly over years while a person continues working, traveling, spending time with family, and believing everything is fine. In fact, many people lose a significant amount of kidney function before they ever notice something is wrong. That's what makes this condition so concerning for older adults. I remember a patient I'll call Robert. He was 72 years old, active, independent, and convinced he was doing everything right. He walked every morning, kept up with his yard work, and rarely missed a doctor's appointment. Yet when his routine lab results came back, his creatinine level was noticeably higher than it had been just a few years earlier. Robert was shocked. He told me, "Dr. Grant, I don't feel sick." And that was exactly the problem. His kidneys had been struggling long before his body gave him a message he could easily recognize. Imagine millions of tiny filters inside your kidneys working day and night. They never take a vacation. They never stop. Year after year. Those filters face the burden of excess minerals, waste products, blood pressure changes, and the natural effects of aging. By the time fatigue, swelling, or frequent nighttime urination become impossible to ignore, the process may have already been underway for quite some time. And in many cases, the hidden burden doesn't come from a single unhealthy choice. It comes from small decisions repeated every day without a second thought. If there is one thing many kidney specialists pay attention to that most shoppers completely overlook, it is not sugar, fat, or cholesterol. It is a group of ingredients that often hide in plain sight on the back of the carton. And the reason this matters is because some of these ingredients can create an extra burden for aging kidneys without attracting much attention at all. When I speak with patients who are trying to support kidney health or lower creatinine naturally, I often ask a simple question: have you ever read the ingredient list on the products you drink every day? Most people haven't. They look at the front label instead. Words like natural, heart healthy, calcium rich, or plant-based create a sense of confidence. But the information that matters most is usually printed in much smaller letters on the back. One group of ingredients I encourage patients to notice is phosphate additives. Names such as calcium phosphate, dipotassium phosphate, and tricalcium phosphate may sound harmless, but they are often the first things kidney specialists look for. Many people spend years trying to make healthier choices, while never realizing that a single word on an ingredient label may deserve far more attention than the marketing claims on the front. And once you understand why phosphorus matters so much to the kidneys, the choices we're about to discuss will begin to make a lot more sense. Before we talk about which milk may be easier on your kidneys, you need to understand the three numbers your kidneys work hard to control every single day. Think of them as three silent passengers traveling through your bloodstream. When they stay in balance, your body functions smoothly. When they begin to build up, your kidneys have to work much harder to keep everything under control. The first is phosphorus. This mineral plays an important role in bone health, but when kidney function begins to decline, excess phosphorus can start accumulating in the blood. Over time, that imbalance may affect not only the bones but also the blood vessels and other parts of the body. For aging kidneys, too much phosphorus can feel like carrying extra weight every day without ever getting a chance to rest. The second is potassium. Potassium helps regulate muscles and heart function, which makes it essential for life. But when the kidneys struggle to remove excess potassium efficiently, levels can rise higher than they should. The concerning part is that many people don't feel obvious symptoms until the imbalance becomes significant. The third is sodium. Most people know sodium is connected to salt, but fewer realize how strongly it affects fluid retention and blood pressure. High sodium intake can encourage the body to hold on to extra fluid, increasing the workload placed on both the heart and the kidneys. Imagine an old coffee filter that has been used for years. It can still do its job, but every extra particle makes the process a little harder. And when phosphorus, potassium, and sodium begin pushing that filter beyond its comfort zone, even something as ordinary as your morning milk starts to matter more than you might think. So what is the first milk that may help reduce some of the daily pressure placed on aging kidneys? Surprisingly, it is not a specialty product sold at an expensive health store. And it is not something most people over 60 grew up drinking. Number 3 on today's list is unsweetened cashew milk. And the reason it earns a place here has nothing to do with trends and everything to do with workload. When I talk with patients about kidney health, I often ask them to stop thinking about food as simply good or bad and start thinking about what their kidneys must do after that food enters the body. Every day, millions of tiny filters inside your kidneys work non-stop to remove waste, balance minerals, and keep your blood clean. As we get older, those filters become less efficient. They can still do their job, but they often need a little more help and a little less burden. This is where unsweetened cashew milk may become a better choice for some people. Compared with traditional cow's milk, it is often lower in phosphorus, lower in potassium, and lower in sodium. Those three numbers matter because they are the very things aging kidneys may struggle to regulate. Imagine carrying a heavy grocery bag up a flight of stairs every morning. One day might not feel difficult. 1 year is a different story. That is exactly how kidney burden works. The problem is rarely one single meal. The problem is the same small burden repeated hundreds of times. I remember a patient named Linda, a 8-year-old grandmother who believed every plant-based product automatically supported kidney function. When we reviewed the labels together, she was shocked to discover that some products marketed as healthy actually contained ingredients she had never paid attention to. And that brings us to the hidden trap. Not every carton of cashew milk is kidney-friendly. Some brands contain phosphate additives such as calcium phosphate or dipotassium phosphate. These additives may be absorbed more easily than naturally occurring phosphorus, creating exactly the kind of burden many people are trying to avoid. This is why the healthiest-looking carton on the shelf is not always the healthiest choice for your kidneys. The real answer is usually hidden in the ingredient list, not the marketing on the front. And once you see how much difference those hidden ingredients can make, the next milk on our list becomes even more interesting because it may reduce the mineral burden even further. If there is one mistake I wish more older adults would stop making today, it is trusting the front of the package instead of the back. Food companies understand that shoppers make decisions in seconds, which is why the largest words on a carton are often designed to make you feel safe before you ever read the ingredient list. Terms like natural, plant-based, calcium-rich, dairy-free, and heart-healthy can sound reassuring, but none of those words automatically mean kidney-friendly. In fact, some of the products marketed as healthy contain hidden phosphate additives, added sugars, or unnecessary ingredients that aging kidneys may not appreciate. This is why I often tell my patients that the truth is rarely printed on the front label. It is usually hidden in the fine print. A carton can look healthy, sound healthy, and still contain the very ingredients you're trying to avoid. And once you learn how to spot those hidden traps, the next milk on our list may become one of the simplest kidney-friendly choices you can make. What if I told you that one of the simplest drinks on a grocery store shelf may actually place less stress on aging kidneys than many products marketed as premium health foods? Number 2 on today's list is unsweetened rice milk. And its greatest strength comes from something many people completely overlook: what it doesn't contain. By now, you've probably realized that protecting kidney function is not always about finding a miracle food. More often, it's about reducing the daily workload placed on kidneys that have already spent decades filtering your blood. This is exactly why unsweetened rice milk deserves attention. Compared with traditional cow's milk, it is often significantly lower in phosphorus, lower in potassium, and lower in sodium. Those 3 numbers may not seem exciting when you're standing in a grocery aisle, but inside the body they can make a meaningful difference over time. Imagine your kidneys as an aging gatekeeper responsible for deciding what stays and what leaves the bloodstream. When that gatekeeper is young, the job is easier, but after years of service, every extra burden becomes more noticeable. The less unnecessary work you create, the more opportunity your kidneys have to focus on what truly matters. This is one reason many people following a kidney diet or trying to lower creatinine become interested in products that naturally contain fewer minerals that require regulation. I remember a patient named James, a retired school principal, who came to see me after becoming concerned about his kidney health. Like many older adults, he paid close attention to sugar and calories, but rarely thought about phosphorus or potassium. When his lab work revealed changes in kidney function, he was surprised to learn that some of the foods and drinks he considered harmless were quietly contributing to his daily mineral load. What made the biggest impression on him was discovering that potassium imbalances often develop without obvious symptoms. Many people assume they would feel something immediately if a problem existed, but that is not always the case. Sometimes the first warning appears on a blood test, rather than in the way you feel. Rice milk may also be appealing because it is often easy to digest and naturally light in minerals. However, there is still a trap hidden on many store shelves. Some brands contain added sugars, while others include phosphate additives designed to improve texture or nutrition labels. That means the smartest choice is not simply rice milk itself. The smartest choice is unsweetened rice milk with a simple ingredient list. And while that may already sound impressive, the final milk on today's list stands apart for an entirely different reason, one that reaches beyond minerals and into the hidden connection between inflammation, circulation, and long-term kidney health. Up to this point, we've talked about minerals, labels, and the hidden burden certain drinks can place on your kidneys. But there is another problem many people never see coming because it doesn't appear on the front of a nutrition label. It is the slow, silent inflammation that can smolder inside the body for years before anyone realizes the damage it may be causing. Unlike an infection or injury, this type of inflammation often operates quietly in the background. You don't wake up one morning and suddenly feel it. Instead, it works gradually, affecting blood vessels, circulation, and the delicate structures inside the kidneys themselves. I often tell my patients to imagine a small leak inside a wall. The damage doesn't happen in a single day. Month after month, year after year. Moisture slowly weakens the structure until cracks finally begin to appear. In many ways, chronic inflammation can behave the same way. And because healthy blood vessels are essential for healthy kidneys, anything that supports circulation may indirectly support kidney function as well. Which brings us to the final milk on today's list. A choice that is not only light on key minerals, but may also offer something many older adults are not expecting. So what makes the number one choice different from everything we've discussed so far? Why would a milk that many people have never even tried earn the top position on a list focused on kidney health, kidney function, and reducing unnecessary stress on aging kidneys? The answer begins with a simple reality that many people over 60 are only now starting to understand. Kidney health is not just about the kidneys. It is also about blood vessels, circulation, inflammation, and the overall environment surrounding those delicate filtering structures every minute of every day. This is where unsweetened flax milk separates itself from the other options on today's list. Like the products we've already discussed, it is often lower in phosphorus, lower in potassium, and lower in sodium than traditional cow's milk. For older adults trying to lower creatinine naturally or follow a kidney-friendly diet under medical supervision, those advantages alone may already make it worth considering. But there is another reason it stands out. Flax milk is commonly made from flaxseed, a source of alpha-linolenic acid, a plant-based omega-3 fatty acid that has attracted significant attention for its potential role in supporting overall cardiovascular wellness. Why does that matter? Because your kidneys depend on a healthy network of blood vessels to receive oxygen and nutrients every second of every day. Blood must travel through tiny vessels before reaching millions of microscopic filtering units known as nephrons. When circulation suffers, those filters may suffer as well. Healthy kidneys and healthy blood vessels are partners. When one struggles, the other often feels the consequences. I remember a patient named Susan, a 70-year-old retired nurse who had spent most of her life caring for other people. Like many older adults, she paid attention to blood pressure, cholesterol, and blood sugar, but rarely thought about how closely those factors were connected to kidney function. During one visit, she asked me a question I hear often. "Dr. Grant, is there anything simple I can do every day that may be a little easier on my kidneys?" Notice the word simple. Most people are not looking for a complicated solution. They are looking for practical choices they can repeat consistently. That's one reason I often focus on daily habits rather than dramatic short-term fixes. Because when it comes to protecting kidney function, consistency usually beats intensity. A single healthy choice won't transform your lab results overnight. But one healthier choice repeated every morning for months or years may create a very different future than one unhealthy choice repeated over the same period. There is another important point worth understanding. Many people think kidney decline happens because of one major event. Sometimes that is true. But very often, kidney function decreases gradually through the combined effects of aging, high blood pressure, diabetes, inflammation, poor circulation, and years of accumulated stress on the body's filtration system. Imagine a stone wall standing in the rain. One storm will not destroy it, but decades of moisture slowly finding its way into tiny cracks can eventually weaken even a strong structure. That is how silent damage often works inside the body. It develops quietly while life goes on as normal. This is why I believe the conversation about kidney-friendly foods should never focus only on what happens today. It should also focus on where today's choices may lead 5 or 10 years from now. Of course, flax milk is not a miracle cure. No drink can reverse chronic kidney disease overnight. No product can erase years of damage with a single serving. Anyone promising that is selling hope in a bottle rather than honest information. But when flax milk is part of a larger strategy that includes controlling blood pressure, managing blood sugar, reducing excess sodium, following medical advice, staying physically active, and attending regular checkups. It may fit well into a lifestyle designed to support healthier kidneys over time. The same warning we've discussed throughout this video still applies. Not every carton is created equal. Some brands contain added sugars. Others include phosphate additives such as calcium phosphate or dipotassium phosphate. And if there is one lesson I hope you remember from today's discussion, it is that the ingredient list matters more than the marketing. The healthiest looking package is not always the healthiest choice. Turn the carton around. Read the label. Look for simplicity. Look for fewer unnecessary additives. Because after everything we've covered today, the most important lesson is not really about cashew milk, rice milk, or flax milk at all. The real lesson is learning how to recognize the hidden burdens your kidneys may be carrying every single day. After hearing about 3 different milk options, it would be easy to assume the secret to better kidney health is finding the perfect product. But the truth is much simpler than that. The most important rule is not the name on the front of the carton. It is what appears on the ingredient list, whether you choose cashew milk, rice milk, or flax milk. Remember these 3 principles. No added sugar whenever possible. No phosphate additives whenever possible. And the shortest ingredient list you can find. Your kidneys are not looking for perfection. They are looking for less work. And sometimes, that starts with one smarter choice at breakfast. Many people believe better kidney health comes from one major breakthrough. But in my experience, the biggest improvements often begin with small decisions repeated consistently. The foods you choose, the drinks you consume, the amount of sodium you eat, how well you manage your blood pressure, and even how closely you monitor your blood sugar can all influence the future of your kidneys. None of these choices may seem dramatic today, yet they accumulate over time, just like interest in a savings account. One healthier decision leads to another, then another, and eventually those daily habits may begin showing up in the place that matters most, your next lab report. Because every healthy choice you make today is really an investment in the numbers you'll see tomorrow. Over the next 7 days, I want you to try something simple. Start reading ingredient labels before placing products in your cart. Look for phosphate additives and added sugars. Pay attention to how much sodium you're consuming each day. Notice whether your ankles swell by evening, whether you're waking up to urinate multiple times at night, and whether your blood pressure remains stable. You don't need a complicated journal. Just write down a few observations each day. Because the first step toward protecting your kidneys is not guessing, it is paying attention. And sometimes awareness alone becomes the beginning of meaningful change. One of the biggest mistakes people make is assuming their kidneys will always send a loud warning when something is wrong. In reality, the signals are often much quieter. It may be swollen ankles at the end of the day. It may be waking up 2 or 3 times each night to urinate. It may be feeling more tired than usual, noticing higher blood pressure readings, or wondering why your energy seems lower than it used to be. These symptoms do not automatically mean you have kidney disease, but they may be signs that your body is asking for closer attention. Your kidneys communicate through changes, not always through pain. The sooner you notice those changes, the sooner you can begin asking better questions, making smarter choices, and working with your doctor to protect your kidney function. Because the most valuable kidney function is the kidney function you still have today. Today, we've explored 3 milk options that may be easier on aging kidneys, the hidden danger of phosphate additives, and why reading ingredient labels may matter more than most people realize. Remember, your kidneys are not asking for perfection. They are asking for a little less burden. One choice at a time. If you found this information helpful, please like this video, subscribe to the channel, and share it with someone who may be concerned about kidney health, high creatinine, or chronic kidney disease. And before you go, I'd love to hear from you. Which milk do you drink most often? And have you ever checked the ingredient list for phosphate additives before today?